Welcome back to another prediction video on this channel, and today we are breaking down the Milwaukee Bucks versus Indiana Pacers and predicting a winner. Let's get right into it, starting with the Bucks. It's been a wild ride for Milwaukee this season. They fired head coach Mike Budenholzer and traded veteran guard Drew Holiday, who both helped them win a ring in 2021, and replacing them with Doc Rivers and All-Star Damian Lillard. The results of these changes have been interesting, to say the least. Players publicly and privately criticized every aspect of the organization, from effort to equipment management, before the Bucks hired Doc Rivers at the end of January. Rivers briefly boosted morale, only for their dissatisfaction to reach the surface again. Milwaukee's defense has plummeted year after year from a top 5 defense to 19th. Lillard and Malik Beasley are not ball stoppers. Chris Middleton spent the season on a minutes limit for multiple injuries that have hindered his defensive impact. The veteran death of Bobby Portis and Jay Crowder left the Bucks searching for answers, and a deadline trade for 35-year-old Patrick Beverley was a minor defensive repair. Giannis Antetokounmpo and veteran center Brook Lopez can only do so much. Yet Milwaukee managed to stay on top of the standings, largely because Giannis is one of the league's 3 best players in my opinion, and Lillard can still reach extraordinary offensive heights in important moments. This is where we come to the most troubling news for the Bucks. Giannis suffered a non-contact calf strain in last week's easy win against the top-seeded Boston Celtics that could cost him anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months, and we're on the early side of that timeline. The Pacers were a popular pick to be a playoff dark horse, and Tyrese Haliburton delivered on that promise, performing like an MVP candidate for the first few months of the season. His playmaking, which includes a league-leading 10.9 assists per game, was a key stat that lifted everyone on Indiana's roster. Halliburton's recent play restored veteran center Miles Turner's faith in Indiana, and nobody on the Pacers has improved more than Aaron Nesmith, who's developed into a legitimate 3-and-D weapon. An offseason trade for Obi Toppin added more bounce to the front court, and second-year guard Benedict Mathurin navigated his sophomore slump to settle into a significant role until his season-ending shoulder injury. Still, Indiana is young and hungry to succeed, and it's very fun to watch due to their fast pace of play. The Pacers performed so well they pulled the trigger on a trade for 2-time All-NBA forward Pascal Siakam, adding a second star in their long-term quest for 3 of them, and it cost them a little more in their active roster, including recent signing Bruce Brown. A team that was meant to be a serious threat in the Eastern Conference became less serious when Haliburton suffered a mid-season left hamstring strain. His pre-injury averages of 23.6 points and 12.5 assists on efficient shooting have dipped to 16.8 points and 9.3 assists on mediocre shooting ever since, and he's looked like a player in need of a break. It did not help that Indiana got rid of future free agent Buddy Hield at the trade deadline, sending a signal that the Pacers do not consider themselves a fully formed threat, or at least not yet. But the net result was still the NBA's second-rated offense, and the team is no longer doubted. Indiana won the season series 4-1, and all 5 meetings, including in the in-season tournament semifinal, came before Haliburton's injury and the trade for Siakam. Still, there are several takeaways that remain. First, Giannis was incredible. He averaged 42.2 points on 68% shooting from the field, 13 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game against the Pacers. He scored a career-high 64 points in Milwaukee's only victory. He also scored 54 in another and lost by 2. He did all this, and the Bucks still finished 1-4 against the Pacers. And now the Bucks might not have Giannis at all, which is very concerning. Something just as concerning is that 3 of the Bucks' 8 fastest-paced games this season were with the Pacers, who ran circles around them, scoring 122 points per 100 possessions. Following the in-season tournament semifinal loss, the Bucks' frustration boiled over as Portis passionately challenged his coach and teammates about their effort. Even after the Bucks' only win against Indiana, Giannis lost his cool. He berated the Pacers about the game ball from his 64-point night in a weird scene that pretty much sums up this entire season for Milwaukee. Recent champions only concern themselves with teams that threaten them, and this has become a true rivalry. So, what is my final prediction? Surprisingly, I have the Pacers in 6. This is assuming that Giannis does not make a speedy recovery. If he does come back before it's too late, I can see him dragging the Bucks to victory in 7. He is the Greek freak after all. Otherwise, the Bucks are without their best defender against a team that they couldn't stop even when Giannis was on the floor. Even with Lillard reaching heights that he has not consistently climbed this season, or Middleton rediscovering the full range of athleticism that made him a 3-time All-Star, it's really hard to imagine a weak Bucks team getting enough points and stops to keep pace with Indiana. But what do you think? Am I right? Let me know in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next prediction.